What's going on, everybody? AK here from the cover band known as Flyby Radio. Welcome to episode number 3 of Cover on Covers with AK. Thank you so much for all the support on episode 1 and 2 with Jana Carey from 7th Avenue Saints. Episode 2 was Melinda Trussell, aka Melinda Guy now, from the band Your Girlfriend. Hope you enjoyed those. I got a special guest today. We got Ricky Burch from Tab And The Mojo. It's going to be an amazing episode. First, let me explain to all the new listeners. I am here to interview people in cover bands and original bands and kind of pick their brains and get to know the ins and outs of their lives and being on the road and where they're from, what kind of music they like, just to kind of let you get a feel for them. So here we go, episode number 3, Cover on Covers with AK.
Here we go now. Can I get a hallelujah? Can I get an amen? Feels like the Holy Ghost running through you. When I play the highway FM, I find my soul revival, singing every single verse. Yeah, I guess that's my church. Can I get a hallelujah? Can I get an
Ladies and gentlemen, Ricky Burch from Tab And The Mojo. How you doing, Ricky?
Good, actually. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. I'm so glad to get you on here. I'm so glad you agreed to do it.
Oh, yeah, glad to do it.
I'm really excited about this new project you have because it went from Mojo Trio to Tab And The Mojo. And when I first saw that, I was very intrigued. I was like, okay, they're bringing a woman in here. And then when I heard that recording that was just played, I was like, holy cow. I got to go out and hear this woman sing.
Yeah.
She is incredible.
She really is. She really is incredible. The thing about it, she's 21 years old, and, you know, she's been around singing for several years now. And I had known about her being around, but I never had met her. And one night she came out to watch us play and just had the idea that maybe it was time to make a change, and contacted her. And she had a band called Neon Smoke at the time that she's had since she was 15.
Oh, wow.
And she was, you know, she was willing to make the switch and join up together with us, and everything's going really, really good.
That's awesome. And I know I saw your lineup on your Facebook page. You guys have a lot of shows coming up.
We do.
That's awesome.
It got really busy really quick, but yeah, it is great. It is great. We've actually picked up a couple of things that she had going with her other band, and a couple of things we had, but it's been a lot of interest in us, and which we're really thankful for. But we've added quite a few in the last couple of weeks.
Right. Yeah, and I noticed Micah is no longer with you guys.
That's true. Yeah. He wasn't going to be playing anymore. You know, family issues and things like that, and needed to be at home, and with his job and everything else going on, he had to step away, and he did that right around the first of the year. And we had another guy sit in with us, you know, one night to play, and that's actually when I saw Tabitha. Her name is Tabitha Cooley. We call her Tab, but that was ironically that's the first night that I saw her, and we called her and sat down and kind of had a talk, and then the rest is history, as they say. But yeah, Micah played with us for about 3.5 years, and then he left and went over to Africa. The family was in the gold mining business over there, went over there for a while, and then came back, and you know, and then Joey passed away, you know, when that happened.
Right.
Coming up on 3 years now, if you can believe that. But anyway, he after that, you know, I just didn't do a lot for, you know, 3 or 4 months, and me and Micah had the idea about, you know, keeping Mojo Trio going, and I kind of got the fire back in me to do that, so we did that. That was back actually in 2015. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Yeah, it's been, I can't believe it's been 3 years since Joey passed away. For those of you who have never heard Mojo Trio, Joey Laycock was the original guitar player for Mojo Trio, and he had passed away about 3 years ago. And that was very unfortunate. I remember when we got that news, and it was like you just got hit. It was insane. But
tough time, but yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad to see that you're back up and you're doing what you love, because that was the one thing that I was really hoping you wouldn't let go when all that happened, because I'm like, he's so good and he's got such a good voice, and it's just like I didn't want you to lose that. I didn't want you to stop doing it.
Well, I appreciate that. And, I told you I came out to see you guys with Fly By Radio. I came out to see y'all about 2 weeks after all that happened. And really the first time I had been out in public. And, you guys were just, y'all were just so great to me that night, and it just kind of gave me the inspiration to keep going. I'm one of the older guys in the business, but you guys, watching y'all play, and y'all were so good, and it just gave me an inspiration with y'all's encouragement, I needed to pick myself up and dust myself off and keep going, and I am so glad that I did that. Mm-hmm. 'Cause, really right now, I think I'm probably the happiest that I've ever been as far as playing. It's just this new project, There's Tabitha Cooley, we call her Tab, but Mitch Hudson plays guitar with us, and a guy named Steve Wallace plays bass, and then me. And everybody is just extremely talented, extremely energetic, and it's just, with bringing Tabitha on, it's just, she is so incredible, it's just, everything about her, it just kind of gives you that inspiration to kind of, just to kind of really just pick it up a notch, mm-hmm. and the voices and the harmonies and things that we've kind of always been known for, we're kind of keeping that going, and with her, it makes it really, really easy.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And especially she's so young.
Yeah.
She's been doing this though for the last 6 years.
Yeah.
So she's pretty sculpted, but she's still young enough to kind of learn the better side of this atmosphere.
Well, I told her, I said, I really think that we met for a reason. And I really mean that. I think that with her youth and enthusiasm, it's really helped me, to kind of find my juice again, really get fired up about this business that is it's my passion. It really is. It always has been. I've been doing it for a really long time. But I also told her that I think that what I can do is I can kind of help her with some things that she needs some help with, mm-hmm. The things that I've experienced before, and maybe help her. So I think it's a good combination. I really do.
Definitely. As young as she is, to be around a more mature group of guys is a very good thing for her.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Because really I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the wrong crowd.
Yeah, well. Yeah, her mom and dad, I met them, they came out. She was actually doing an acoustic show here in town, and I went out to see her and ran into her mom and dad for the first time. And, that's what I said. I said, I promise you this, that sometimes when you're in some of the places that you end up in, when you're playing music, I said, you don't have to worry about your daughter. I said, she's got 3 really good guys going to be around her that'll take good care of her. Mm-hmm. But I don't think she's having any problem taking care of herself, but you know how it is. It's just, kind of nice to have some guys around with you, but, I think she can handle herself pretty good though.
She looks like she's got a little bit of spice to her.
She does. She's got her personality and everything is just really, that's what I said. Everybody that's been around her, I told everybody, I said, when you meet her, you'll know what I'm talking about. You'll see why I fell in love with her and her voice and her personality. And that's, that's just a big jump. I came from with Silver Creek back before Mojo Trio formed. I came from the background of playing with a female singer, singing harmony with a female singer for a lot of years, so I'm not a stranger to that, but it was kind of a big jump for us to jump back into doing that. But, it was a natural fit because, when you're a trio, you really, and you don't have really a front person like you are in your group, there's a lot missing there. There's really a lot missing, and you really need that. And you need somebody with that bubbly personality and somebody that's just that has that magnetic attraction like you've got, when I've watched you with Fly By Radio, y'all are incredible, and with you up there as the front person, well, we were with Mojo Trio, we were lacking that. We were lacking having that energetic personality. That the music was great, the singing was great, but the we just were lacking that. So it really wasn't that hard of a switch to do this, because it was a natural thing. It's just finding the right person to do it. That's the key. And I'm telling you, it was a perfect fit with her. It really has been.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And thank you for that compliment, by the way.
Hey, well, you know what? I mean, you're wonderful. You really are. You do a fantastic job. You guys are great. But I think everybody that's seen you knows that. So I'm not telling anybody anything they don't already know. So.
Oh, thank you. I feel like as I'm getting older, my body's just getting weak. I mean, like, I have no place to really talk because I'm still relatively young. But man, 3 years on the road, that really knocks it right out of you.
Yeah, it does. That's what I'm saying. You kind of every now and then, no matter how old you are, young you are, every now and then you got to kind of recharge your battery and kind of find that enthusiasm, that energy again, because
mm-hmm.
it's tough. People don't realize it, and I know as busy as y'all have been at times, and it can take a lot out of you. That road is kind of a tough thing, yeah. And y'all do a lot more traveling than we do. We stay a lot closer to home than y'all do.
You guys are smart.
Yeah, well, maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't mind driving so much. I really enjoy looking at the scenery, and it's almost like what would you call it? It's like peaceful. It puts me at ease. Right.
Yeah. Exactly. I've what I've always said is that, you kind of get to see that, kind of get to see the world kind of thing, with all the traveling. But, I mean, it's nice if you're going to different places, I mean, if you're going on the road to the same places, I guess it can get kind of boring. But, after a while, that's the tough part of it. I was talking to a guy that has a big DJ service here in town Dustin Watson is his name, and he travels all over the country, and that's what he said. He said, man, the setting up part is tough and the taking down part is tough. He said, but it's fun, and then of course the playing the music and the whole show that he's got. But he said that road it gets tough, the 11, 12-hour drive that they do. I mean, because he's Colorado, Chicago, South Florida. I mean, he's all over the place. So they're big time traveling. But yeah, that'll take its toll on you. But it's why we do this. It's the getting up there and playing in front of people, and the feedback you get from everybody that keeps you wanting to do it.
Exactly. For me, it's the musicians. I like keeping up with the musicians. I'm like, you like the same things I do. That's awesome.
Well, when I saw this what you're doing with this thing, I think it is the coolest thing ever. Actually, I really do, because that I don't know that I've ever seen anybody do that, and for you to be doing that and giving everybody time and recognition to tell their story, I just think it's one of the coolest ideas ever. And I hope it really takes off, and maybe you'll be famous one day and have a national show for all the musicians around. But
man, that would be cool. But right now it's definitely a project that I really enjoy, and I love musicians so much. Like, I love everybody everybody I know that's a musician. It's like there's just this weird bond, even if you don't know them that well.
Yeah,
it's because you have that one thing in common, and you just naturally love each other. And so I want everybody to come together and really just promote each other instead of just, sitting on your high horse and our band's better than your band.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of that sometimes, but you know what? And as doing it as long as I have, one thing that I've been trying to do lately is I've been trying to go out and see a lot more people that I didn't do for a long time. Not that I didn't want to, it's just it was hard to do when we were playing a lot, and most of the time when they were playing, we were playing.
Yeah.
But now, going out and seeing them and supporting them, and no matter what they're doing, no matter where they're playing, no matter what kind of music they do, I just think that it's really important that we all support each other. I really do. And I wish that that we would. And I think this is the perfect venue for that, with you doing what you're doing, because I think that everybody can understand everybody's story. They can hear everybody's story, and then they can kind of tie that to them as the performer and the musician that they see out on stage. And I just think that's going to be priceless for just the whole experience of getting to know the person behind what you see up there on stage. It's just really cool, really is.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Great.
It keeps going.
I think it will. I think it's going to get a lot of interest in it, especially from the musicians, because I know that everybody will want to tell you their story. I listened to the first one that you did with Jana, and it was fantastic. I was just, the whole time I was just mesmerized, because I know her, but I don't really know her that well, but just listening to her stories and everything, I just think it is the coolest thing ever, just to listen to where people came from, where they've lived, where they played, and telling her stories about New Orleans and stuff like that. It was just really interesting to me. So, and I think you'll find that with everybody. They're you're going to find that interesting, because especially people that follow certain people that you've never really talked to them personally and heard their story. You just see them performing on stage and you don't really know about them.
Exactly. Yeah, I enjoyed that one. I enjoyed Melinda's. Did you get to listen to Melinda's?
I have not yet. I was going to do that today, but I have not today. But I'll probably do that later tonight.
Hers is funny. We got onto the subject of because she's pregnant, so she's 7 months pregnant, and so we got on the subject of babies and just like funny moments on the road. I mean, hers that was entertaining. We're gonna have to go back and do another episode with her because that just wasn't enough time. An hour just wasn't enough time. So getting back to you, I want to know more about Ricky. I want to know, like, are you from Tuscaloosa? Were you born in Tuscaloosa?
Yes, I lived here my whole life. With the exception of 6 months, I lived in Columbus, Mississippi. I was playing with some guys over there, and I moved over there for some reason. I was driving back and forth, all the time, and so I decided I'd move over there. And of course, 6 months later, the band split up, and I came back to Tuscaloosa. But I've lived here my whole life. Yeah, I was born here, raised here, and lived here my whole life. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you had any interest in moving anywhere else? I mean, some musicians are like, I want to go to California or New York or Miami.
Not really. I think, our family, an extended family, has been one of these that kind of always kind of stayed close to home. We've never really, I know a lot of families, especially when kids graduate, from college, they're everywhere. They go all over the country for jobs or whatever, any kind of, opportunities. But, our whole extended family's kind of always stayed close to home. And, years ago, toyed with the idea of going to Nashville and that kind of thing, but I'm really glad that I didn't, because I think that, Nashville has got its place in the music business, but it's not like it used to be. It's a tough place. And I think you can do just as much from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, or any town, really. I think you can do everything that you need to do, just like y'all. You're based out of Tuscaloosa, and y'all do great things all over the place. So it's but I've never really, not really. I've never had that drive to want to do that, to move far away. But I know that me and Joey talked about it for years. Trying to see what we could do as far as kind of going together as a package deal, playing. But we always decided to stay close to home, and we always said about Joey, he could play with anybody, anywhere, at any time. But that wasn't what he wanted to do. He wanted to stay. It's kind of the same way I've always felt, is that, to me, making that personal connection with everybody at the places where we play, and you go out and you get to laugh and you get to have fun and you get to see people that you're close to and friends with, and that, to me, is kind of what the good that I've gotten out of music over the years, is just the friendships that I've made. And if you tried to do something else, maybe you wouldn't have that. Maybe you would. I don't know. I don't have any regrets about it. But people that do that, like my friend Chuck Tilley, we grew up together. Chuck is an amazing drummer, and he's played with just about everybody that you've ever heard of. Right now he's playing with the group Alabama. He's their drummer. The group Alabama, and they're
Really?
touring around. And, oh yeah, yeah. But he's played with Al Jarreau and Dolly Parton and Lee Greenwood and Richard Marx, and I mean he's playing with Alabama right now. He's got a group called Six Wire up in Nashville, and those guys are amazing. But Chuck chose a different path than I did, and he's doing extremely good with what he does. Does a lot of studio work in Nashville, but he chose a different path than I did, and I tell him every time I see him how proud I am of him. But I chose to stay closer to home. I think because I started a family at a younger age, and so it just kind of kept my roots here.
I know. The first time I met your son, and
Yeah.
you told me how old he was, I had to do a double take because I was like, there's no way that you could have a son who's in his 30s.
You know what? I'm going to tell you a really, really funny story if you got a second. It won't take long, but this past weekend, me and Tabitha played it was a festival that they had. That was where that recording you saw of me playing my little cajon and snare, and she was playing acoustic guitar.
Mm-hmm.
We were just outside playing and having fun. And anyway, there was a man that was there, and he was a popcorn vendor, sold popcorn. And I went over and met him because I had talked to him before. And when I went and met him, talking to him, I walked away and went back up there and started playing. And my son came up there. He said, I got a really funny story to tell you. And he said, what? He said, the guy you just met from the popcorn place? I said, yeah. He said, he thought that you were my son. So the rest of the day I was calling my son Dad,
Oh, man.
And that's what I tell everybody. I said, I don't reveal my age, because I don't want to expose myself. But
you got some good genes.
Well, I appreciate that.
That's for sure.
Usually this industry kind of turns you in the other direction. It kind of leaves you worn out and haggard. But
Yeah, after all those Vegas bombs.
Yeah.
You guys are notorious for those Vegas bombs. And and people bring me those, and I'm like, how do they do that? How can you drink so many Vegas bombs in one night?
Well, I don't anymore, really, because I really can't. Maybe I used to be able to, but now I can't do that. But
Yeah.
But yeah, some people can. But yeah, that's it's kind of hard to do and actually do your job right. You may think you're the best sounding person to work until you listen back to yourself. And you go, that really wasn't as good as I thought. I shouldn't have had that much. But
Oh yeah, I've had a few of those moments.
yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
find one of those recordings on Facebook, and you're like, when was that? Oh,
Yeah,
that night.
Everybody's got a cell phone now with a camera and a video recorder on there. So
Oh man.
you get exposed out there a lot, and if it sounds bad, everybody in the world knows about it. So.
Oh yeah. But I mean, and it's those moments though where I'm like, I'm human.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
Everybody's got a bad night.
Yeah, but I haven't ever heard you have one, so
Oh well, they're there. They are there.
Yeah.
So how long have you been playing the drums? Or should I say, at what age did you start playing drums?
I actually started. My grandfather was a drummer back in the big band days, back in the 30s and 40s, and he had an old set of drums, and I actually started when I was probably 12 years old. I remember, you probably don't remember this. I didn't actually play them, but I did. I kept a rhythm with them, but back in the day, they used to have what they call spoons, like cut, like.
Oh yeah, I love those.
Like sets of spoons,
Yeah.
where they just clacking together, So I picked them up. Somebody had them over at my house, over at my parents' house. I picked them up, and I sat in front of this little record player with 45s, the little 45 single records,
Uh-huh.
and I would sit there and tap it on my leg and tap it on my hand, like one was a snare drum and one was the hi-hat, and I was just sitting there tapping on it. And that's how I started kind of getting the rhythm and got interested in it. And I would do that for hours. Well, I had an uncle also that played drums, and he played in a rock band back in the 60s and 70s and 80s. And anyway, as I was growing up, I would go to his house, and I would sit in their room, in their band practice room, and just listen to them, all the time when they were having band practice. So that's kind of where it started, really getting the fire in me about playing. So then I sat down with my grandfather's drums and set them up in our basement and just played them and played them and played them. That was really when I was probably 13 and 14. So when I was 15, I actually went out and played. The very first band that I was in, it was some guys in high school, and the guy's name was Jack Sharman. He's actually a famous lawyer up in Birmingham now. But anyway, he was he was like the smart guy in the class, really, really smart, great tennis player, but he had a big interest in music, and he loved the Rolling Stones. I think he thought he was Mick Jagger. I think what the deal was, but anyway, the name was Jack. So we started a band, and we had one gig. Well, all it was we had an assembly for the whole school, and it was on 50s Day. Everybody dressed like they were in the 1950s. So he came up with this idea. We were called Injun Jack and the Silk Pistons. That was the name.
Nice.
Injun Jack and the Silk Pistons. Anyway, so we played one time for the school assembly, and that was the only time that we played. It was just one thing, one time. But he was up there acting. He thought he was Mick Jagger. He did pretty good at it, actually. But anyway, we were all really young. I was 15 or 16 maybe. But then, that band didn't last long. And then started another band called Mirage. That was the name of the other one. My brother played bass in it, and a couple of other friends, and had two girls in the band. One played guitar and one that just sang. But anyway, we started playing out. So really and truly at 16, 17 is really when I first started playing out, and then did that until I was probably 19, I guess. I actually started playing in a club and a house band, and I played 6 nights a week for about 2.5 years that I did that. And that probably was, even though it had a lot of downfalls, but I told everybody, I said, that is the time in my life that I got familiar with my instrument, because it's very odd that or very rare that you're going to actually practice your instrument 4 or 5 hours every single day. Right. And that's what we would do, and I mean, just playing, so I think that was a good experience for me, even though there were a lot of things about it I didn't like, but, I mean, it was still a great experience for me. And then, then I went to play with those guys in Mississippi, in Columbus, Mississippi, that I was talking about, and then came back home, and shortly after that is when I joined up with Joey playing with Silver Creek. And that was our band that was with Lynn Wyatt. But that was when I first started playing with Joey. And so we went from there. And after we lost Lynn, Lynn died of melanoma back. In fact, it's 10 years ago this June. And shortly after that is when Mojo Trio started. And that was kind of the offspring of Silver Creek. And then that's where we are now, After almost 10 years, we're coming up on our 10th anniversary of Mojo Trio, and now it's Tab And The Mojo. So
that's awesome. You guys are notorious for your harmonies.
Yes,
for sure.
That's true, and I know that we were talking about some of the questions that you may have, and I know that one of the things I was listening to when you were talking to Jana and talking about what you listen to on the way, to shows and things like that. We don't travel as far as y'all do, but but if we travel for a couple of hours, we would literally spend half of that time in the vehicle pulling the trailer, and we would be practicing harmony. We would just be going over a cappella harmony stuff that over and over and over and over again until we got it right and got it perfected and just got that practice time in. And that's what I was saying, is that, in fact, I was telling the guys that we're playing with now, that there's a lot of really, really, really good musicians out there, but there's not many people, you're not really going to separate yourself, musically from a lot of people, because there's a lot of really talented people, but a lot of bands just don't spend the time that it takes to learn the harmony.
Oh yeah, no.
It takes a lot of time, because just like with Tabitha, I've had to listen to her and the way that she sings and the phrasing of her words and everything that she does. And those kind of things usually take a long time. I've kind of fallen right in there with her. And me and Mitch are singing a lot of harmony with her, and it's just really starting to gel. And, that's what I told them. I said, we've really got to work on that. We would actually, back years ago, we would have just vocal practice. Somebody bring an acoustic guitar, and the three of us would sit there as a trio, and we would just sit there for 2 or 3 hours and do nothing but work on harmony in the song. And so yeah, well, that's kind of what we did to kind of, that was our thing, and I kind of want it to be our thing now, because it makes it even more interesting, because when you got nothing but guys in the band, your your set list is extremely limited. When you've got guys that can sing in the band and a female singer, you have no limitations really for the songs that you can do. Mm-hmm. I told somebody the other day, as you well know, because I've heard you do a lot of Journey and things like that, and do it great. But it's what I said, guys, very few guys can sing the girl songs. The girls can sing all the guy songs, and they do a really good job on them. But you don't see many guys that can sing the girl songs, so you're very limited. So,
This is very true.
Yeah.
I could never sing Wagon Wheel or Friends in Low Places. Those are two very hard songs for me because they're so low.
They are. They're low. They're low for me. I used to do those too, and I guess I still do. But yeah, I mean, they're already like really low for me. So yeah, I can't imagine you trying to sing that, or Tabitha trying to sing. But yeah,
I guess harmony is no problem.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's right. That's right.
So tell me your funniest moment on the road. This is one thing that I'm always intrigued with other bands, because, I mean, I know my struggles and the funny moments, but I'm intrigued with other people. So what is the funniest moment that you can remember on the road?
There's a lot. There's a lot, and most of them I can't tell.
Well, I have a lot of those too.
Probably, I'm telling you. But I think probably one of the funniest, and for some reason it pops into my mind. Joey was making a joke one time. He was like, because we used to give away T-shirts. We would print up a bunch of T-shirts, and because that's kind of what I do. I'm in the embroidery and T-shirt business on this, other than doing music. And anyway, we could get them for a good cost. So we would give out a lot of T-shirts and things, just as promotional stuff for the band, and people wanted T-shirts. So, Joey made a joke one time. We were playing, I'm not going to name the place, but people will do a lot of really crazy things when you're giving things to them, giving away your, merchandise, So anyway, he's talking about, hey, I'll give you a T-shirt if you'll, whatever,
flash them.
Exactly.
It's okay. Yeah. It's a podcast. It's all right.
Okay.
You're fine.
He went back there to me and he said, hey, how much you want to bet if I tell him I'm going to throw T-shirts out there for everybody that pulls their pants down? I mean, he said, I bet you I get everybody to do it. And I started laughing, and I turned around. He got on the microphone. He said, all right, everybody that pulls their pants down, there's like probably 30 people out there, like just dancing around immediately right in front of the band at that moment. It was a small place.
Uh-huh.
And he said that, and I'm not kidding. Every single one of them, they're out there dancing with their pants down around their ankles. And I said,
oh my God,
how much would it have been? How valuable would a video have been of that? Because nobody will ever believe that story. But we laughed about that.
Oh my gosh.
The whole way home. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Nobody was like, it wasn't graphic, but I mean, still, everybody's pants are down around their ankles. And
that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. If you could have been there, it would have been a lot more fun to tell the story. But I guess he was right. People will do just about anything if you're giving them free stuff. So.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
there's a lot that I can't tell, but I mean.
Oh yeah, no, I mean that's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
In this industry, you see so many things that you would never think that would happen.
Yeah, you're right.
It's mind-blowing. It took me a long time to be able to wrap that around my head and just kind of go with it, because like the girls that fall out of their clothes sometimes, I end up going to them and I'm like, honey, no. Like I mommy them. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, some of them need that sometimes, but
well, and I know to guys, you're like, stop, just let it happen, because you're just guys. But to me, I'm like, if that were me, I'd be so embarrassed.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a totally different end of the spectrum. But
yeah, I tell everybody, when I hear somebody say, "Man, I've seen it all now," I'm like, "Come hang out with me on a Saturday night," and you won't ever say that. You won't ever say I've seen it all, because when you think you've seen it all, something else is just completely mind blowing. And so yeah, there's a when you mix people being out and alcohol and those kind of things, it can turn into some pretty funny times, But,
oh, don't I know it. So with that, where did this name of Mojo Trio come from? I mean, it's catchy.
Well, we were trying to think after Silver Creek, because when Lynn passed away, that was her band that she started when she was young, and we played with her for years and years, a long time. And we just me and Brad Bricken and Joey Laycock, we got together and we said, we don't need to keep that name. That name kind of needs to lie with her. That was her band, and we just need to start something new. And so, just kind of out of the blue, that name just came up, and I really don't know exactly where or exactly how, but I remember the first time that I heard it, it was like, that's it. We don't even need to talk about anything else. That's perfect for us. And it was just catchy, and we just kind of went with that. And I don't really know the origin of it, but the thing about it is, when we kind of going into what we are now, Tabitha's band was Neon Smoke, and that was her band that she started, and we were Mojo Trio. And I said, we'd been around a lot longer, and I said, I was kind of wanting the Mojo Trio name to kind of be in there someplace, And then I started thinking, well, she's turning loose of her name, and that's kind of her baby, and Mojo Trio is mine and kind of my baby. And I said, but I don't see her wanting to have Neon Smoke in there anywhere. So I said, I'm not going to be selfish. So we sat down and talked about it, and I said, let's just do something different with this, and I'm okay with that. But I didn't want to really let go of that, because I felt like we had a lot of recognition, and we'd been around a lot of places, and that just the name recognition and stuff. But anyway, Mitch was messing around one day, and he said, "Hey man, why don't we just call it Tab and the Trio?" And I was like, I like that. I like Tab and the Trio. I like that. Well, I proposed that to Tabitha, and I said, what do you think about that? And she was talking. Her grandfather actually used to play bass with her, and good bass player, and really smart guy. And she said something to him about it. She called him Poppy. She said, Poppy, let me ask your opinion about something. She said, what do you think about Tab and the Trio? And he said, well, what happened to Mojo Trio? What happened to that in there? Y'all don't need to do anything to get rid of that. He said, why don't you call it Tab and the Mojo? And then it was like, like the bell went off, and I was like, well, I said, I tell you what, listen to me, Tabitha. I said, I want you to make the decision about that. I said, because it doesn't have to be in there. And then she sent me a text after she thought about it. And she said, you know what? She said, Mojo has more, in quotations, meaning. Mojo has more meaning. Mm-hmm. And when she said that, I was like, well, that's what it's going to be then. I said, if that's what you think and that's what you want, then that means a lot to me, that you want to keep that a part of it, and keep that as a tie-in with it, but that's how the name started, where it is now. That's how the name happened. But we talked about keeping it together and keeping Mojo Trio in there, but I just didn't want to be selfish with that, and I think that it turned out good. And that's what I told her. There was some doubt. Everybody asked me, well, why do you want to not sing anymore? And I was like, have you ever tried to, for 4 hours every night, play the drums and sing every single song in the band? I don't care how old you are. I mean, that is tough, and I love doing that. But you know what? I said, if the right person ever comes along, I will hand that over to them. We needed a front person. Somebody says, is it hard to be a front person behind the drums? I said, no, it's not hard at all. I said, it's freaking impossible. It's impossible. You cannot do that. You can't make the connection to the crowd like you make with Flyby Radio, or like Tab making with us, or any front person, Jana that with her band, any of these other female or even guy front people. You can't make that connection from behind a set of drums. I don't care how good you are or what. You cannot do that. And it's just, I realized that, and I realized it more and more all the time that you can't do that. So that's another reason that we were kind of had our sights out for somebody to kind of come and take that role over. And so I talked to her, talked to Tabitha right after we got together the first time, and I said, listen, I know there's been some question about what your role in the band will be. And I said, your role in the band is to be our front person, be our lead singer, and take this thing to the moon. I mean, and let us be your band and sing harmony with you. And I'm still singing probably 6 or 8 songs a night, and that's a good amount. Singing harmony with her on a lot of songs, and so I still get to do that, but I don't regret stopping doing that at all, because I'm telling you that's a tough thing to do and do it all night long, but loved every minute of it, and would never trade it for anything in the world, and thankful that I was able to do it, still able to do it, but that's a tough thing to do, and so. But as far as being a front person, and you actually you well know with your energy level. I mean, I'm serious. You're one of the best that I've seen. That, and you really get everybody going, and your energy is what lights up the room. It really does. It really lights up the room, and that's so important. I tell everybody, when you go out and you listen to a band, 90% of the people out there don't care if somebody missed a chord in the verse, or missed the lyrics in a chorus, or whatever. When we all kind of beat ourselves up for making a mistake, or not singing this part right, or forgetting these words, or whatever. If you're up there acting like you're having fun, and you're helping everybody else have fun, that's what's the most important thing to 90% of the people that are coming out to hear you play. Mm-hmm. They're not being technical about the music. Some of them are, the musicians that come out to see you play, they are, but 90% of the people like you that light them up, when they come out to see you play, that's why they're there. That's why they're there. They're not there to see, they're out there to hear what they're hearing, but they're out there to visual, like y'all with your lights, your great light show, your energetic, everything. That's what it's all about. And that's what I'm saying. Can you imagine trying to do that? Can you imagine trying to do what you're doing behind a set of drums?
It would be very difficult.
Yeah, you can't do it. It's impossible. It's impossible. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But so that's that's why I'm so glad that we've done what we've done as far as making this move. I think it's a perfect thing for us, and it's a perfect combination of everything. I really do.
That's awesome. I'm so happy for you, and I'm really happy with this lineup. I think you guys sound really good. I do have a request.
Okay. And
I've said this since Mitch and Micah became the trio with you.
I know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
Are you guys going to do Fat Bottom Girls? Because that's like the one song that I would always get so excited to listen to.
We used to do it, and we are going to do it again. I don't know why. I don't know why when after Joey passed away and we kept Mojo Trio going. I don't know why. I really don't. There were maybe 3 or 4 songs just from an emotional standpoint that I didn't really want to do anymore. Mm-hmm. But they were more of the slower songs that we would do. And, just kind of because of the connection, it was just hard to do, but that one, I don't know why. But I can tell you another reason is that song has a really high harmony part on there. But now we've got somebody that can cover that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're definitely going to work that one back in.
Tabitha, I'm calling you out.
Well, that's right. You heard that, didn't you? But yes, we're going to do that because, believe it or not, honestly, that's probably the most requested song that we've ever had because we used to do it and everybody loved it. and it's just been one of those that just kind of stood the test of time, you know. And yes, we will. If
I
you
feel
ask
like that's like your Mojo song. That's like
well,
the Mojo.
there you go. Well,
Because you guys were just so good.
well, it was a lot of fun. In fact, being able to do that and pull that off. I remember y'all coming out to see us play at the Oasis, doing a little acoustic set. You know, most people that do acoustic shows, they kind of do their acoustic set, and when they do their full band set, we did everything acoustically. It didn't matter what it was. We did Fat Bottom Girls acoustically, or you know, Shine by Collective Soul. You know, or Footloose, or anything. Like I said, why would you really think, how's that going to sound? You know, beating on a cajon and playing acoustic guitar. You know, it just. But you know, we just wanted to do it because it just kind of made it interesting and fun just to kind of do our whole set list. But yeah, we're gonna do that one for you. I promise.
Thank
I promise.
You.
We will.
And I promise I'm gonna make it out to a show. I'm actually gonna be up in the Tuscaloosa area this month, to where we have a Friday off. So I'm going to try and see where you guys are at, and I'm gonna crash that party wherever it might be.
That would be great. That would be fantastic. We would love to see you.
So, well, thank you, Ricky, for being on episode 3. Y'all check out Tab and The Mojo. They are incredible. I'm going to link your Facebook page to coveroncovers.com, as well as the Cover on Covers Facebook page, so people can come and see you guys and really hear this amazingness that I can just feel.
Yeah, it's really special. It really is.
You guys are awesome, and I'm so happy that you're just keep going.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying. I'm gonna see how far I can go, you know. But I'm loving it like I hadn't in a long time. So yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ricky. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Any last words?
No, I just appreciate you doing this and keep doing it. I'm gonna be listening to every one that you do and looking forward to, because I know so many of the people around here, and I can't wait to hear their story.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Till next week.
Okay.
I find my soul revival, singing every single word.